nonsense that stops you from knowing you. We're not as stupid as we're being taught, and we're not liars, but we've been taught to be liars because the truth is the truth. I'm sorry. All fucking believers are liars. Children are liars by default. Their fucking parents' fucking fault for taking the fucking lies in and then spreading the lies on.
Around here somewhere. It's great. So one is basically it's that very, very first milk that's made in the milk right after the calf is born. And then within a few days, the milk it actually transitions into normal milk. But for those very few days, it's just
Default.
super nutrient dense and super antibody dense cholesterol. And unlike other brands, cowboy cholesterol is true first day whole cholesterol rich in bioactive like hemoglobin and growth factors. And it's not processed, it's not stripped down, it's really just the real thing. It's full fat, high in protein cholesterol. And I will mention that if you're an animal lover like I am, you don't have to worry. They only collect the surplus cholesterol from the mom after the baby calf had their fill. So check them out. Right now they're offering a great deal to our viewers, 25% off your entire order. And to check them out, just head over to cowboycollection.com/Roman. Use promo code Roman at checkout to get 25% off. Once again, promo code Roman, ROMAN. And I'll also throw all their links. You can find them down in the description box below. Cowboy Collection supports the show, so let's support them right back. The links will be down in the description box below. And then, if you just think about it logically, atop both the cost as well as
Starting off with Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and the fucking Tooth Fairy. Why lie is the fucking question you need to be asking the assholes who taught you to be liars. My mama, they didn't know no better. My daddy, he didn't know no better. My grandmother, she didn't know no better because we all were taught the same fucking lies.
Research, they said that their project actually returns the ocean to where it was. They claim that over the last several decades, industrial CO2 emissions have had what they call, quote, catastrophic effects on sea life as the acid dissolves marine creatures' shells, damages coral, and even wears away sharks' teeth. And so they're basically saying that increasing the pH level would actually walk back some of those changes and restore the natural habitats to how they were decades ago. On the flip side, however, the critics they say that we don't actually know what effect this will have in the ocean over the course of time. Quote, the biggest source of controversy stems from the fact that the impact on marine wildlife is still largely unknown. Recent studies have warned that excessive outdoor intensity could affect species growth, metabolism, and biodiversity. Additionally, as alkaline substances dissolve, they release trace metals, which could build up in the ocean and creating ecological risks. And so these are the two camps. One is saying that we don't know the effects that this technique will ultimately have on the ocean, marine life, and the trace metal elements might build up over time and cause disaster. But on the flip side, the scientists pushing for this method and pushing to test it say that it will actually de-acidify the ocean and restore the natural habitat to what it once was. And I will mention that there is data for this idea. In the past, there have been some smaller scale examples of even chemicals to adjust the pH levels of smaller water. But most notably, Scandinavian rivers suffering fish declines due to acid rain, but heavy dose with alkaline lime in the 1980s leads to the return of native salmon to Sweden's Aquan River. Also, for what it's worth, the latest test that took place over in Gulf Maine off the coast of Massachusetts apparently showed no immediate negative impact
Well, ever we think.
Quote, based on the biological and ecological impact data that we have collected and analyzed so far, there was no significant impact of the Loch Ness field trial on the biological community using the metrics we measured. And just a fun fact, the Loch Ness Project is actually an acronym, and it stands for the Locking Ocean Carbon in the Northeast Shelf and Slope Project. And so, there you have it. Another, basically, moonshot project to attempt to, I don't know, save the Earth and combat climate change. Leave your thoughts in the comments if you think that this is a good idea or if it's once again trying to play God with the engineering project. Also smash those like and subscribe buttons so the video reaches ever more people via the algorithm. And also all the research links, including the link to the study that was found on the website and sort of more of an explanation on how the project works, how the science behind it works. You can find that all down in the description box below. And then until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epic Times. Stay informed, most important, stay free. involved before. I think there's a here the president said the thought that he doesn't believe the new high school law needs made a variety of comments suggesting that he should be involved in the new Iranian leader. Is the ending of this war also contingent on Iran selecting a leader that the president finds acceptable? And if so, how is that not the second issue of this regime change war?
As President Trump has blatantly and frankly stated, it's obviously within the best interest of the United States and the West to no longer have a radical terrorist in charge of.
One, like the seven of the music on things include columns, pressure, temperature, and description. Years 1984, and the concrete jungle of youth.
Yeah, the scientists investigate
Well,
that.
that was like the call.
Gotcha.
For a few minutes, but the state back
The scientists
from a co-sponsor.
big time.
I supported unconditionally. The SABAC, as you well know, President, it's really pretty simple. It's about our sanctity of voting in America. It says if you want to register to vote in America, you have to prove that you're a citizen of America. And once you're registered, it says that when you're voting on the federal election, and all the things you have to prove you are, you say you are, you know, vote. Now, there's some,
I am.
now there are other provisions that may or may not be added by amendment, but those are the judges that say. Many, I hope not all, but many of my Democratic friends in the Senate are opposed to the SAFE Act. They say that we're setting our time on fire here in the Senate. Just wasting space. We're wasting precious oil. Many of my Democratic friends say that we screw the home. The home provides their clearance that and has since God was a baby. That in order to vote in America, you have to be a citizen of America. My friends on the other side of the aisle look at this theory that somehow this legislation punishes women of color. Because some women, not all, some women take their spouse's name when they get married, that somehow will, the women are not smart enough to figure it out.
Thank you.
That somehow will
Thank you.
the ability to register to vote and to vote. I don't get that part, but I get my colleagues. My Democratic friends say that this bill is going
necessary, but it's
Okay,
also
bro.
going to cost
Go get that
money.
book for me, sir.
And that what we're doing in proposing it is taking, we're wasting taxpayer money, we're taking the great vein-sized hair down the leg of every taxpayer in America. And I could go on. I hear them. My Democratic friends have no claim to a high horse. You just say we wouldn't be here today passing this legislation if some of my Democratic friends had stood up to the Biden administration. But I want to make it clear, I hear my colleagues, I think they're wrong, but they're entitled to it. Now let me explain what this bill is really about. I'm not going to talk about the details of this bill. I think enough people have done that. That's the other I thought I'll tell you what this bill is about. It's about people trusting elections in America. And it's about immigration. Now, I happen to believe, I think most Americans agree, that the United States of America is still trying to pass. I think this country is the greatest country in all history. I think the whole world knows. When, Mr. President, did you last hear of somebody trying to sneak into China? The whole world don't do that. I consider that a big number. And we have a way of welcoming them to America. It's called legal immigration.
How do you say, excuse me?
Is our legal immigration system a modicum, a model of efficiency? No. I need to make some changes. And maybe, hopefully, someday we will.
So you ain't teaching like that, right?
But it works. And I'll tell you why. Over 1 million of our rolling ladies every year become American citizens. Nigerian doctors, Romanian farmers, the corporate country who will become American citizens. Now, the opposite of legal immigration is illegal immigration.
Eliminate the national debt. You didn't
Illegal immigration
give
is illegal.
You didn't give Epstein accountability.
We have laws
You
that
get a
change.
$5,000
We don't like it, we should change it.
You didn't get a $2,000 stimulus. You didn't get low
Our
prices.
immigration statutes
You didn't get help buying a home.
are not some
You didn't get
second-tier laws
You didn't even get
that you can violate without consequence. They're the law. And I support their
ladies and
enforcement.
gentlemen, when the guy
And so do the vast majority of Americans.
see, this is what happened. Apparently, you can
Now,
just
how do you enforce
stop
the matter?
trolling.
Our immigration laws should be enforced.
Jake Paul.
Respecting human dignity. Our immigration laws should be enforced in accordance with due process. Our immigration laws should be enforced in accordance with equal protection and with the standards of reasonable suspicion. Certainly, that's in, I think it was 1969, a Supreme Court case called Terry v. Ohio.
Lawyers in the city of Houston, and these are really
We should follow the law and enforce our immigration law. You have the right to protest. You don't have the right to protest violently. In fact, as I've said before, violence undermines the morality that the protesters say their movement is based upon. It's not an original idea. Dr. King knew that. Gandhi knew that. Mandela knew that. Violence is also dangerous. You can get hurt. And it's been my experience that most times, and
members of ICE and cops. Most cops will leave you alone unless you do illegal stuff. There's obviously no fault. So protest are good. But don't do it. It is not done in the way.
Because of some video I did last week.
Now some have suggested that the American people are xenophobic and that they're racist when it comes to immigration. These people suggest that vetting people at the border is racist. I think it's proof. And I think most Americans think it's
Don't
proof.
worry about the Epstein files. Let's talk about
Let me see if I can explain why. If I could ask you folks to keep this door shut, say something. Please.
And that is sleep with underage girls. Yes, it happens in all the countries. So Puerto Rico, on down to
Most
St.
Americans,
Martin,
I read this somewhere.
European men, politics.
Most Americans look at the southern border like they look at the front door of their home. Most Americans lock their front door. Why do these do that? They don't lock their front door at night because they hate everybody on the outside. They lock their front door at night because they love the inside. And they lock their front door because they want to know who's coming into and out of their home. And that's the way people look at southern border. They don't hate everybody that's going to come into America. In fact, we welcome a million of them, but they don't know who they are. They don't vote properly today. That's why we have immigration laws. Now, remember a few minutes ago, I said my Democratic colleagues had no claim to a high horse, and explained why. When President Biden was president, and by the way, I wish him well in retirement. I hope he's doing well. He's had some illness with his cancer. I wish him well in his retirement and in his health. But when President Biden was president, either he or some of his advisors who had authority on his behalf admitted into our country millions of folks illegally from all over the world. We don't know how many. 8 million, 12 million. Some people say 30 million. I don't know how many. But President Biden, it was like the price is right. Come on down. You can.
What's your young lady?
What's up?
You got that book handy?
Do I have what?
That little book handy. Someone you look at something.
Do I have it handy?
Yeah.
It's right, this box right here. What's up?
Don't worry about it. Cause I'm gonna probably get start going to property legal school.
Wait, what?
I say, Troy going to property legal property school, some shit dealing with property and shit. But we about to put
You want to pick the book up?
I might have him get his own fucking book, cause that was my book there. And I want you to have that book. But
Well, it's right here if you want to pick it up or whatever.
okay, but yeah, cause we about to put a trailer down there for me to stay in when I come down there and everything. He gonna pay for it and everything.
Oh, okay.
Cause we about to put it behind Preacher House, but we found out from Daddy yesterday that we can't do nothing on that because it's still dealing with what her name? It's in recession or some shit. I ain't know that.
Oh, they still in their succession with their dad?
Yep.
Because there's so many kids.
Yep.
Outside kids and all that shit.
Yeah.
That's why they be saying do that other thing, so you don't have to go through all that.
Yep. So again, the way that we're gonna structure that there is gonna be in your name, my name, Boober's name, but it's gonna be in a trust. See?
Yeah.
Can't never sell it. It's just gonna go from family member down to family member down to family member, but you're gonna make it where you can't sell it, because that's what you want. You want it where you can lease anything, but you can't sell nothing.
Yeah.
And that's how we're gonna do it. But I probably give him a call if he do decide, he'll give you a call and talk to you before he come.
Brent had told me today that when he went to the hospital today, they told him he had 6 months.
Okay, we gonna go see him this weekend?
Yeah, I think Brent coming back in town today, so I'll see what Brent will set up. Because I don't want just.
Right. Yeah, you just want Papa's
He's
one.
kind of sick. His leg is swollen and stuff, so I see what Brent say about,
Yeah,
kind of company they have or whatever.
yeah, because some people don't like
So-
some people don't like you have company like that. Some people don't.
Yeah.
But then you gotta have your company, you feel me? Because it's
So it going to show you how when somebody be dying, how people do. So I had called his wife the other day, and I said, Chandra, I said, I didn't. This was before I found out, that he had 6 months. That was when I first found out he was sick and that he had the cancer and all that. So I had told her, I said, how put he doing? I was just calling to check, check and see. I said, how's your husband doing? I just called to find out, I heard he was sick. I was calling to check on him. She said, our husband? I said, no, I was calling to check on Put. She said, our husband. Which I'm not paying for no funerals. I don't know that damn our husband.
And look where you went to. Having to pay for the funeral. Ain't that something? No, damn well you ain't entitled to none of that there. But why your mind went there? You see what I'm saying? Why your mind went there? You see?
Because all these years we've been hanging out, and I say that same thing to her. He ain't never been my husband until now he's sick and now he's our husband.
So again, like I said again, James, she ain't just thinking of his transition. She thinking of hers too now. You got me?
Yeah, and I know. Yeah, she thinking about him. Brent helped them out a lot.
Mm-hmm. And
So she go.
And she ain't really expecting that, because I guarantee you, Brenton already talked about the will and all that other stuff for him to make some money, for her to have some money, because Brent ain't stupid.
Yeah.
Brenton's a smart son. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Because again, if you're getting ready to check out and you can still get some fucking insurance, nigga, get that insurance.
He probably ain't gonna get none though. He
Let's
probably
see.
might have some already, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But he ain't gonna get none now because he got cirrhosis of the liver and cancer. They ain't gonna get you no doggone
Now why?
insurance.
Now why? See, now he got all that debt done started to fucking up on him. But if he had the strength, what I mean by the mental strength to go along with his body breaking down, he can live there fast, meaning basically stop all the different things that's basically killing him and start on all type of. But when you far gone, you're never too far gone, because all your organs, they reproduce their own self, meaning that the process is over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I feel sorry for him, because it is what it is. We break our bodies down by not knowing what the body deserves and needs, being young, growing into being older. You see?
Well, I don't feel sorry for him, and I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me when my time comes, because it is what it is.
Yeah, and get what? And get what? And that's the best way to put it too. But again,
Yeah. And then the thing about it is, Putty, all right, Putty, his brother Leo and his brother Peanut was like jam tight. They worked together. They was together every day. They got off for work. Peanut died. Well, Peanut, Putty, and Leo was close, but Leo and Peanut was more closer. So, but they all three hung together. Peanut died, and Leo wasn't even sick. And a couple of months later, he died.
See.
And we were surprised Put wasn't right after him. It's been about 3 or 4 years now,
Because he was stronger, and again, he had been around women. What about the other ones? Did they have women in their life?
Them old two sisters that was two.
I'm saying, did they have
trailer park trash?
Okay, I'm saying, did they have somebody for significant in their life, meaning not a sister, a female?
They wasn't even none of them. They was with. They had their little women that was good, but they wasn't dealing too much with their kids, like talking
There you
about,
go. See, because in your life is taken away from what you teaching to your kids. See how your kids is the reason why your life is so long jeopardy.
yeah,
You see, because all your kids came out bad, and they putting out. All your kids came out good, and they putting out good energy, and that's the energy
yeah,
vibration that you living on. That's the reason why you ain't never had no harm done to you in the streets. So we was always thinking about your crazy ass. At least I was. You see what I'm saying? So again, us thinking about each other is just like praying. You see,
yeah,
and when you realize it is what it is when you think about shit happens all day, every day. It just ain't happening to you now. It can always be happening to you later.
say anymore. And as a result, we have millions of people in our country. We don't know who they are, but we know they're in our country at least. And a lot of Americans are opposed to that. It's one of the reasons, I think, that Vice President Harris lost the election. Why do most Americans oppose that? Well, first, as I told you, most Americans believe in the rule of law. They understand that illegal immigration is illegal. Most Americans think it's prudent, not racist. It's prudent to vet people at the port. Most Americans understand that if you want to come to our country legally, we have a process. And that it's unfair to people who have been waiting patiently and line to be properly vetted to allow anybody who can get across the border to jump the line. Most people understand that in America, understand that viscerally. And many Americans, let's just put it on the table, Mr. President. Let's just put it down here where the goats can get it. Most Americans, no, correct that. Many Americans believe that this was a plot, it was intentional by President Biden and some of my Democratic friends to admit people illegally into America so that perhaps at some point these folks would be indebted to the Democrats and would vote for them. I'm not saying that's true. But
are you going? Look the other way, pal. We're fighting communists.
You've been smoking a doobie if you don't think that a lot of Americans don't believe that. They believe this was intentional. Again, I'm not saying it's true.
I'm scared.
And when we pointed out, many members of the press go catatonic and foam at the mouth and say you can't say that. But they're living in La La Land. A lot of Americans believe that. And a lot of Americans believe, whether it's accurate or not, that these folks vote today. And that they undermine the sanctity of our land. So that's what the SAVE Act is about. It's about trying to get the American people to trust our elections every year in light of the fact that President Biden and his team, with the concurrence of many of my colleagues in this chamber, admitted millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people.
24 million to be exact.
I think many of the folks that came into our country were economic migrants. They just wanted a better life. That's why we have illegal immigration. Not all of them are Cinderella.
But all of them end up being Cinderella. All of them end up being Cinderella because all of them getting a motherfucking check for being here. And that wasn't cool. All of them got a check for being here. Go do some research. Every last one of them got a check for being here. And got a check if they decide to leave here. Shit ain't right.
So that's what this bill is meant to do. It's meant to say to the American people, look, we in Congress here, we want you to trust our elections. My personal feeling about getting people to trust our elections, I think if we did two things. I'm supporting this bill, but I think we ought to do two things. Number one, have a rule that says you have to prove you are who you say you are in order to vote, and I guess I would add to that more of a registered vote. And number two, we need to go back to having an election day, not election month.
No.
Because when it takes longer than just an election day, people think the worst. But the SAVE Act will help us do it. To restore trust in the American system. Because you know what? Our democracy can't stand if people don't
Trust yo.
believe in the sanctity
Man, I don't believe in
of
shit.
folks that we put
I
in
don't
charge
believe shit.
to administer.
Either I know or I don't know or I'm asking
Some of
questions. So fuck all that bullshit, belief bullshit. That's how you got a lot of people fucking stuck on fucking stupid. Because of that fucking shit, believe. Fuck you believing for? When you supposed to fucking know better. What the fuck you understanding for? When you supposed to fucking know better. What the fuck you having faith for? When you supposed to fucking know better. And what the fuck are you hoping for? When you supposed to fucking know better. We are not as stupid as these assholes and taught us to be stupid, ass lying, stupid fucking fools.
Sometimes someone in the minority can be right. So we have the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is not for the high school quarterback or the prom queen. The Bill of Rights is for people who see the world a different way. And they have the right to do it. So I'm the minority. I don't know how to deal with something. I can't do it. I have to wait for it like everybody else. But if the state bill doesn't pass, play that, doesn't pass. And we're serious about that. And I think we are, Mr. President. I know you are. We need to start passing such legislation through reconciliation. Now, you know how reconciliation works, Mr. President. It means we can pass this bill 50 Republican votes, and the Vice President's president. That's how we pass the one big beautiful bill. I would hope to get some of my Democratic friends to support it, but we don't have to have it. That's hard for them to describe because you know, Mr. President, there are parameters on reconciliation.
No.
Anything you propose to reconciliation has to be paid for. We can find the money to pay for it. And anything you pass in reconciliation has to conform with the contours of the budget control. We call that giving a provision authority. And our parliamentarian decides what passes muster under the Budget Control Act and what doesn't. Now, we got a party in the United States Senate. Every single person thinks they're all of the windows to leave. But we've got a lot of other smart lawyers in America. Here's what I'm getting. We have yet to try going to some parts, these smart lawyers, some in the Senate, some, believe it or not in the Senate, and saying, craft us a SAVE Act that will pass muster under the Budget Control Act and can be blessed by the parliamentarians. And some of my colleagues, those out of the windows, right? They say, Kennedy, you know, that you'll never get to do that. Then you don't. No. I've been here 10 years. I've seen things pass muster, survive a bird bath that I didn't think had open. And I've seen provisions passed parliamentarians judgment under a bird bath that I thought, and I've seen a not passed that I thought was plain dumb. No, will be right. And we haven't tried. And if this bill is important as everybody says it, and I think it is, because we're not just talking about voting, we're talking about the confidence, the trust of the American people in our election. If this bill is as important as you say it is, we should try to reconcile it. I haven't convinced them to do that. I haven't convinced all of my colleagues on either side of it. But I plan on continuing to chase them like they stole Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate you listening to my explanation for the SAVE Act. Did I mention I support the SAVE Act? I did. I mentioned I'm a co-sponsor of the SAVE Act. I just wanted to clear that up, Mr. President. And the real reason that we're here today. So I'm done, Mr. President. What would you like me to do? Go spin to a phone call? Yeah, it's okay with you, Matt? I'm doing that, Matt, your brother. Okay. I suggest the absence of a quorum. I am here today on this very floor urging the members of this body to pass the Save America Act. Our Democrat colleagues are fond of bellowing into the TV cameras that photo ID to vote is Jim Crow. Now, I will admit, our Democrat colleagues should be experts in Jim Crow because it was Democrat politicians who passed the Jim Crow law. It was Democrat politicians who founded the Ku Klux Klan. You need a photo ID to purchase alcohol. You need a photo ID to go into a bar. You need a photo ID to get on a plane. You need a photo ID just to drive a car. Not even rent a car, drive a car. You need a photo ID, actually two photo IDs, to shovel snow in New York City. Why would we not require the same level of verification for something as consequential as President Biden? Later this year, American citizens across the country will exercise one of the
I do not trust neither party. But my question is, why allow either party to cheat? When you think about not using ID, you can think of a cheat.
to today. And how is the right to self-government, the right to vote, secured? It was secured by American colonists who rejected the royal edict and hurled tea into Boston Harbor, declaring no taxation without representation. It was secured by ordinary men who seized their muskets and fired the shot heard round the world at Lexington and Concord. It was secured by
My question to you, if you're not thinking for you, you are nothing but a lying, losing, stupid fucking fool. Period. No exceptions.
Patrick Henry. Give me liberty or give me death.
Because if you're not thinking for yourself, you're not thinking at all. You're just going along with the five-word program.
Local officials,
Let me explain.
state representatives, to the President of the United States. Every member of
Make believe, understand, faith,
because we were
hope.
elected fairly and honestly, and given a mandate by our constituents to serve.
Five words that was made up to keep you delusional, stuck on fucking stupid, as a lying loser, not knowing that you're lying to people around you, because the truth is the truth. You can never lie to the truth that's already ready within you. It's just that we all been taught to be dumb. We all been taught to just go along and stay along. We all been taught to not ask
The votes of
questions.
the American people shape the course of our nation and the course of history.
The question is, are you a liar? Do you ask questions? Because again, facts. All believers. I didn't say some believers. I said all believers are liars.
And constitutional amendment.
Facts. There's no leave in the middle of the word believe, and there's no truth in the word believe. There's only in the middle of the word believe, you as the I in the middle of the word lie. If you are a believer, you are a liar.
At every
Facts.
stage of our constitutional amendment process.
Were you or were you not taught to believe?
To ensure that the right to vote belonged to American citizens and that it was exercised with integrity. And while our system has evolved,
your answer is your answer, but the truth is the truth.
Elections reflect the will of the American people. For a right so sacred, for a privilege so hard fought, it is shot.
Naturally, in order to know better,
and neglected and vulnerable
in order to do better, naturally.
That is why I'm here today on this very floor, urging the members of this body to pass the Save America Act. It says when you register to vote in the federal election, you must provide proof that you are a citizen of the United States, and you must provide photo ID. In simple terms, that's it. This is not some radical, politicized, or weaponized piece of legislation.
You can't save her if you want to save.
Restrict Americans from voting. It is a common sense measure that protects the integrity of our election by ensuring that American citizens and only American citizens are voting in them. Legitimacy in a democracy rests on two pillars: First, the mechanical integrity of the system would produce a valid result. And second, public confidence in that system. If either one fails, the system falls. If both fail, the system collapses.
To the hypnotized.
A system cannot be trusted
They use the story.
with a system failed government.
And then they try to see
That's the worst.
there's
Between two-thirds of the country require some form of adaptation. Why? Because it safeguards the integrity of their identity and reinforces public trust in their system. So next question. Why can't the United States fully embrace the same? For the last several months, we have heard claim that somehow shifted from this. That requires a again the survey panels. The American people do not support OS express. Our Democrat findings have signed a staggering petition here. That's the position. They come from not hurting. Not over there. Our Democrat because if you Democrat just so hard. It was Democrat policy who found it to think like slammer. It was this decades in the North, exterminating assessment unequal. It prevents African Americans from voting. But you know what? Objectives are disingenuous to claim the total ID to vote is innocent. They say it's innocent. Supreme Court of the United States State of Indiana passed that ID law. If you guys study out of the group of black ladies follow the state challenge. Safe friend. All the way to this sport. What's their name? I bet so they can take before the Supreme Court of civil things and split. And unless we're planning to make the same effort, they're going to press us that requires analyzing the social people not just the same guys my own, so it's big. By the state's different. Rejected their opinion. The opinion of John Ross, the John Ross Peter was very lived with the kids, not conservative. He was mad right then. He was a leading liberal for years in the U.S. Supreme Court. He rejected that place. And he pointed out that when someone votes freely, that they're fearless to vote. Legal votes. They're sealing the American citizens. Supreme Court explained that with photo ID laws, they're ridiculous. Minority participation in this vote not this. And the Supreme Court explained that the Muslim photo ID is the integrity and the integrity of democracy. Now, I don't understand any of that vote back. But I touched that because the American people have heard their sweetest arguments that they have rejected. This president, 81% of Americans support requiring photo ID to vote. The Democrats probably might say, well, in America, well, about 3/4 of African Americans in the United States support requiring photo ID to vote. More than 80% of Hispanics in America support requiring photo ID to vote. Here's an astronomy proof to this. You get out of elected office if you ask a Democrat on the street, 70% of Democrats in the Senate support requiring photo ID to vote. The one group that doesn't are elected Democrats in the United States Senate and the United States House. And by the way, the premise of their argument that minorities, if you require a photo ID to vote, are not going to be able to vote is frankly insulting. Mr. President, I'm proud to be a Hispanic American. I've been a Hispanic all my life. You know what? I've got it in my wallet. That's right. I look at my colleagues across the way. I feel confident they have driver's licenses in their wallets as well. Hispanics are not morons. African Americans are not morons. And when you claim minorities can't figure out how to get a driver's license, well, gosh, what do you need a photo ID to vote to do right now in America? You need a photo ID to purchase alcohol or to purchase tobacco. You need a photo ID to gamble or purchase lottery tickets. You need a photo ID to go into a bar. You need a photo ID to get on a plane. You need a photo ID to rent a car. You need a photo ID just to drive a car. Not even rent a car, drive a car. You need a photo ID to apply for government benefits. You need a photo ID to enroll in college. You need a photo ID to open a bank account. You need a photo ID to check into a hotel. And I got to admit, this is my personal favorite. You need a photo ID, actually two photo IDs, to shovel snow in New York City. These are routine, everyday activities. The gallery is full. I feel confident everyone in the gallery who is not a child has a driver's license. And by the way, you wouldn't be admitted to the gallery if you didn't. And I feel confident every member of this chamber has done just about anything I listed well, except shoveling snow. I'm not convinced many of my colleagues have shoveled snow. Oh, they do shovel other things. The question is not whether Americans are bright enough to obtain photo ID. We know they can. We know they do. The real question is, why would we not require the same level of verification for something as consequential and vital as voting? Are our Democrat colleagues saying voting doesn't matter? Or is it something else? Voting is not just another everyday activity. It rolls around every year, a few years. It is the vehicle that protects the principles of our republic. It's safeguarding what matters. This legislation is necessary because there are individuals and systems that can undermine confidence in our life if proper safeguards are not in place. And one of the most apparent ways that we've seen is through the masses of illegal immigrants that our Democrat colleagues let in through open borders over 4 years. During the Biden administration, more than 12 million illegal immigrants flooded into this country. The vast majority through my home state of Texas. Now, Mr. President, understand that was not an accident. That was not something the Democrats could not stop. That was their desired outcome. How do we know that? Because the instant President Trump was sworn into office for his second term, illegal border crossing plummeted 99%. Overnight. The Democrats said, no, Joe Biden can't secure the border. He needs new legislation. We now know that was a lie. He was objectively false. And they knew it. Well, if they could have secured the border for 4 years, they chose not to. They chose to let murderers into this country. They chose to let rapists into this country. They chose to let child molesters into this country. They chose to let gangbangers into this country. They chose to let terrorists into this country. We've had 4 radical Islamic terror attacks in the last 2 weeks. Why, Mr. President, would the Democrats choose to allow more than 12 million illegal aliens to invade this country? I'm going to suggest the obvious reason. Because the Democrats look at those illegal aliens and they want them to cast votes for Democrats in federal elections. Why are the Democrats lying up and saying, no, under no circumstances should we test to see if you're an American citizen? Under no circumstances should we require photo ID. You know, there was one activist a few years ago who filmed himself going into a D.C. polling place. D.C. polling place that, sir, what's your name? And he said, my name's Eric Holder. Now, this activist is not the Attorney General of the United States at the time. But yet, D.C. handed his ballot and said, Mr. Holder, please cast your vote. The Democrats are lined up in this chamber because they want our election to be insecure. They want voter fraud to be rampant and to be easy. Ask yourself, do the American people have a difficult time buying beer? Do they have a difficult time getting into their army? Do they have a difficult time getting on an airplane? Well, yes, because the Democrats have refused to fund the TSA into the long line. But the lack of the photo ID is not an impediment that stops people from voting. This debate is about something very simple. Do our elections matter? Does our democracy matter? And for Mr. President, I got to say, that is the phrase the Democrats love. But they are opposing democracy. It's interesting, their voice usually drops an octave when they say it. They clutch their pearls. And that's just the myth. Defending democracy is what they say. Ask yourself, why are they not concerned at all about 12 million illegals who they let into this country voting illegally? And I'll submit, Occam's razor provides the simplest solution is usually the right one. The simplest solution is very clear. The Democrats in this body want illegal voting. They want power to come, but they're more than happy to undermine democracy to try to seize power. I get that from their personal self-interest. But it is not in the interest of the men and women they represent. It is not in the interest of the people of America. This bill is rightly called the Save America Act. And Mr. President, if we were voting on the merits of what was good for America, what was good for democracy, what was good for American citizens, the vote would be 100 to nothing. Although I would know on the other side of the building at the State of the Union address that you were at last night, we saw why our Democrat colleagues are so adamantly opposed to this bill. President Trump turned to the Democrats on the right side of the floor of the House, and it gave them an opportunity to demonstrate with absolute clarity. He said, if you agree, our first priority should be to fight for American citizens and not for illegal aliens, please stand. And every single Democrat in Congress remains seated. It's not a woman. I would know you're on the floor today of the 47 Democrats in this body at this point is here. But a whole lot more on the floor during the State of the Union, every one of them chose to remain seated because they could not support the statement that we need to support American citizens and not illegal. That's why they oppose the Save America Act. Because they want to be handed power over this country by the illegal aliens they let into this country. That's why we need to save America. And it's why I urge every member of this body to pass the Save America Act. I yield the floor.
They ain't gonna pass the Save America Act simply because of the fact that they don't want to save America. Why would they save America when them robbing us make so much money and it ain't shit that we can do about it? That's what pisses me off the most about the dumbass shit. I'm just saying. I'm Mr. Glass, 48.